Hi, everybody. I was thinking today about when we start the Hangouts, and I never introduced myself. So for those of you who don't know who I am Romy Clark, and I'm super excited to have you here with us. We have Lisa and Karina with us tonight, and Lisa's actually in the States for just a little bit longer before she gets ready to go back to, are you going to Hong Kong?
Back to Hong Kong, but actually I'm going to be here for a bit. Curtis is leaving a week from today, but I'm going to be here till the 27th. So I'm going to leave 2 weeks from tomorrow. Because as you can see, I am sitting in this disarray, and the faux painter was actually here tonight, the good one, and we are finalized most of the boards and got a bunch of other business issues I'm dealing with, and a super secret change the world project that I'll be letting all of my friends, like all of you, know about very soon. Roll out, and today was just one of those wonderful kind of days. And I have to tell you, everybody that's watching, I was a few minutes late to this hangout because Curtis and I were helping a new group with a company, sort of starting out with them. We were going through the hot market and all the things that you guys are so far, you're into all the advanced stuff now. And I was listening to him and reflecting on how far you've come and all the things that we've covered, and got so lost in time. I was like, oh my goodness, it's 9 o'clock. And I said to Romy, what shall we talk about? And I thought, when all else fails, the lesson that I always like to go back to in business, but really particularly in network marketing, relationship marketing, is the Vince Lombardi, this is a football speech. And of course, we're not playing football, and I'm not Vince Lombardi, but the point of the message was that every fall, when it came time for training camp, all of these professional football players, even the new ones had been playing, obviously, in college, he would get them in the locker room, and the first thing he would say is, gentlemen, this is a football, to remind everybody that the fundamentals are what's key. And as we were going over them tonight, I realized that if we always remember the fundamentals, we'll always have success, because what happens is we start to learn a lot, we start to move quicker, we forget what it's like to be that new person that we once were. We forget how difficult it was the first time we rode a bike. We forget how difficult it was the first time we did anything, because things become second nature to us. And I had to laugh. I was telling Romy, I have been interviewed for a lot of podcasts recently. And I think that most of the internet marketers that are doing podcasts all must have taken the same class, because there is a list of 24 questions that I've answered in the same order probably 7 times. It is somewhere there is a list of these are good interview questions that everybody has found. And what's interesting is one of the questions is, what is your favorite book? And for me, my business book will change periodically. If you ask me my favorite network marketing book, it's going to be Go Pro by Eric. I think it sets the standard. I think it's an amazing book. I think everybody should read it. And if you ask me what my favorite business book is, that's subject to change. Right now, I would tell you it's Money Matters by Anthony Robbins. But 2 years ago, it would have been Tribes by Seth Godin. But if you ask me what my all-time favorite book is for the new person in business, or the new graduate, or the person embarking on a journey, which means I probably need to send this to you, Romy, now that I think about it, is Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. And Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss has been my favorite book for as long as I can remember. And I have sent this to people that I think must find it very humorous, because I've sent this to college graduates and college professors and top performers in their space, because it's so simple and it captures the message of what it is that we do and what we offer people so succinctly. And another question that they always ask me on these podcast is, what's your favorite quote? And I really have to laugh with that, because my favorite quote is forever changing. I have so many that resonate with me, and I'll see one and I'll really think about that for a while. So I never really have a favorite quote. I have quotes that I love, but they want you to have a favorite one. So if people watch all of these, they'll say, boy, she's really psychotic, because I think in 7 interviews, the only thing that does change is my favorite quote. But my favorite quote recently And I wish I could tell you who said it. He's a Frenchman, and I'm not really sure of his name. But the quote is, "Perfection is achieved not when there is nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to remove." And I think that that is so much the secret of success. I think that whenever we can get down to the simplest way to do something without sacrificing the result, we never want to remove so much that things don't work as well as they can, that we don't get a stunning result. But when we can take things down, especially when we're dealing with teams and groups, and we can get down to the simplest way to do it so that the most people can participate and the most people can have a positive result, it's very much like a choir. We can take a lot of very talented singers who individually can make us think of the angels with their voices, and put them all together, and the sound is horrifying. But when you can bring it together as a choir in unison, all singing from the same hymn book, or even think of it as an orchestra, everybody playing beautifully individually, but you try to marry it into everybody playing at the same time, what that sounds like until they're all moving in step, playing the same music in unison so that it coordinates. And I really think that we've come so far. I think about where you were, Romy, when we started this. And you were either just making diamond or had just made it. But now you're a blue diamond, and you have, I think, another blue diamond on your team already, and other people breaking diamonds, which means that so many people that weren't here are now not even new anymore. They're on the road to diamond. And so many people that were just starting, that didn't think they could do it, are now having a success and can't even remember that they didn't think they could do it. And it's always a good time to remember that this is a football, that it is a business of fundamentals, that every day we have new people joining our company that need the same patience and time to understand what it is they've gotten into, to understand that it is a business. For me, the statement, "This is a football," the network marketing equivalent would be, "Gentlemen, ladies, this is network marketing. And by the way, let me explain to you what network marketing is about." And this is really profound, so grab a pen, take notes. Network marketing is about, oh my goodness, marketing to your network. It would seem that so many people join network marketing and miss or gloss over or complicate it up to the point that they forget. It's about marketing to your network. And we have 3 types of networks. We have our hot market, our most forgiving network, the people that know, love, and care about us the best and have known us the longest. And that is the most likely market to become, our initial trial customers. And I always say trial customers, and people always say, well, why do you say that? Because we're always trial customers until we're customers. Every product that we try with the intention of thinking we're going to like it, but it's really, I'll buy it, I'll try it, I'll see, oh my goodness, I really like this, or not so much. We've all had that experience, but the very best way for a person to become a trial customer of anything is by word of mouth referral. The very best word of mouth referral is always going to be someone closest to us. And then we have our war market, which is also a forgiving market, but they know us a little bit differently than our hot market. So in some ways, it's very good. It's very good to do business with. They're not going to be as likely to jump up and down and support us as our close friends and family, but they're also not going to be as likely to think we're idiots that need to be protected from ourselves. And we come by that honestly. They love us, our close friends and family. They want to protect us. They want to protect us from ourselves. So they don't want us to venture too far or risk too much or try too hard or fly too close to the sun. Romy, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I was watching some kids. My children are now 22 and 24, and I was protective for my time. But I was watching some kids ride their bikes the other day, and they were in a subdivision neighborhood with helmets. Okay, my kids wear helmets. Okay, I get that. And arm pads and knee pads. And they had and like these glasses that like have sides that we used to wear for welding. You needed to wear them in shop, but on a bicycle. And they had so much stuff on to ride a bicycle down the road, and I thought, Is it me or is the whole world gone mad? You know, to get dressed up like that to ride your bike with training wheels, no less. You know, and I said, so, you know, that's a helicopter mom. And I can only imagine when that kid's 22 or 23 and comes home and says, I want to start my new business in network marketing. Are you sure, honey? You know, are you sure? I don't want you to be disappointed. I don't want you to be upset. I don't want you to this. I don't want you to be that. So, you know, there is the downside to the hop market, but there's the upside. And then, of course, there's the network of all the people that are the friends we haven't met yet. There are no strangers, just friends you haven't met yet. Nobody can be a stranger, and you can never really hate anybody once you know their story. So it's about marketing your network and not selling to your network. There's marketing, which is giving people information and letting them decide what they want to do with it. That's marketing. And there's selling, which makes people wish that you would leave the state. That's when you're beating them up and hocking them and being so persistent that sometimes they buy just to make you go away, which will make a sale, but typically not a sale that's going to lead you anywhere. So I just want to reiterate these things because when I look at what's been accomplished thus far, you guys have not even gotten started yet. Because back in the beginning, you had one person who was leading, who hadn't even done it yet. And now you've got a handful of people that have done it. That story is more compelling. That enables your business to go into exponential growth. Believe me when I tell you, everybody says, well, shouldn't you be in something at the beginning? Thank goodness there are people that can do it, that are willing to do it, that like to do it. I've done it. Pioneering is a lot of things. I suppose you have battle scars and maybe they give you a medal, but it is far easier to go out and talk about what we've done than to go talk about what we're going to do. You know, you can go out and tell everybody what you're going to do, and most people will think you're crazy and they won't take you very seriously, you know, and they don't really believe it because most people do not have faith. Most people they need proof. And what really we have to do with people is you have a very short window between hope and belief. People have to move from hope to belief really quickly or they will self-eliminate themselves out of this game. And in the beginning, when nobody's really done it, when a company's first starting out, there are some people that jump in again, not understanding what they're jumping into, not understanding the game, because there's sort of a greed factor that takes over. Oh, I'm going to get it first, I'm going to have it all, but that dissipates faster than hope does. But when you need to move people from hope to belief, it's a lot easier when you have stories of what has already been done. When you can point to, we did this last year and we did this the year before. We've been here for 5 years. We barely touched the surface, but we're not going anywhere. So it occurs to me that as Romy starts on this journey, and that's interesting too, that change. She has had this dream for a long time. And most people think, oh, she can finally afford to do that. And it's not really a financial thing. She could afford to do it long before she did it because now her business allows her to go to the next level. She will in many ways be able to go out and be with the teams all over the country and see the world on a much more localized level and be able to get really into that leadership development stage of her business. But she also has enough leadership developed in her business that it can allow her to be off the grid sometimes where she may not have internet access, or she's in events with this local group so she's not able to be on hangouts like this so Karina can be here. So you are now moving into a new phase that you can all capitalize on. You have an opportunity to not just be able to tell the story locally, but to put people in front of Romy wherever she'll be. We've talked about events, and up until now you've kind of had your local things, you've had the virtual things, and you've had the big events of the companies to push into. But now you have this roving reporter who's going to be traveling the world, and that's an ambassador for you wherever you know people to get them in front of her. So this is an opportunity for Romy to see the country while building your business, should you be able to capitalize on it. So these are just some thoughts I was having that I thought I would share. And now I'm going to open up because my lovely co-hosts and see what they want to chat about and see if you guys have anything you want to chat about. We didn't open the Q&A, but I can do that really quick in case anybody out there has any questions or comments or anything they'd like to touch on. And Romy, I'm just so excited for you, world global traveler.
Yeah, I love that ambassador to be able to build their teams. That's pretty cool. And looking at it in that way,
Well, that's what
and
you get to do. It's fun.
yeah. And I mean, my head has been running a million miles an hour trying to figure out, who I can go to and make sure that I hit everybody that wants me to be there. And I mean, it's just like light speed thought process. But
Wonderful, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, like you say, we financially probably could have done a little bit of this before, but the freedom to,
You've put it, and that's what's so wonderful about the business. Everything goes in phases. You've now worked yourself, I don't want to say to irrelevancy because you'll always be relevant, but on a day-to-day basis, it can run. The stuff that normally required your presence can now happen without you so that you can now go take it to different levels and provide different support and expand the business regionally for people. And in the past, if you do that too soon, the area where you were in might have exploded, but what about all the other areas where you were so crucially important? And it's really kind of neat when you realize that you're not alone anymore. That's why when people ask you what network marketing really is, I say, well, it depends on on which angle you're looking from. It's obviously brand building and it's creating distribution networks, but in many ways, I think it's a leadership development factory. Because
I totally agree with
your
that.
check gets bigger, more people are using the product. That's very simple to connect. But really, you have more. You end up. It's like any startup business happening for you. You start and it's just you, and all of a sudden you've got all these vice presidents and peer people that can do what you can do, and it's just working. How do you turn this off? I have no idea. So it's hold on one second. I mean, they keep calling. Let me see who this is.
So Karina, you want to share what your thoughts are on that topic?
I actually really like what she brought out about keeping it simple, and it's probably been there the whole time, but I've never connected. Network marketing is marketing to your direct network. That's your friends and family, and we're always so hesitant to do that because we don't want to impose and we don't want them to think we're crazy, but they're the ones that are going to love us and support us the most. And so to keep it simple like that is amazing.
Plus, it's just I mean, we're just sharing the opportunity. I mean, there's lots of families that, have been afraid to share an opportunity with the people that they love. But, I mean, I look at the people that are in the business with me, who I love, who I shared the opportunity with, and and really wanted them to come along with me. And I can't even imagine how this would be without you and Lateran, and then so you have the personal connections with the people that you love, and then it expands. Now we have Lisa, and we have Curtis, and we have Colin, and the people.
Network marketing gives you the ability to create the family you always wanted. Not that we don't love the one we're born with, but love them, don't always like them. But here's how I think. I remember we've talked a lot about questions and the questions you ask yourself. People always ask me, how is it that you can share the business with everybody? Aren't you afraid people will make fun of you? And I really wasn't. And I think it became because of the question I asked myself. One was this. This was a question that was posed to me once. If we truly believe that we have a cure for the financial cancer that's killing people, who would you want to share it with first? So that made sense to me. And not first. I like people to get their feet wet before they bring on the pressure of family. But what really I started to realize is ask yourself this question. People are funny animals. They don't always really let you know what's going on in their world, even the people closest to us, because as human beings, we put up facades. The way that I equate it is, have you ever had a friend get divorced, and when you find out they're getting divorced, you're like, oh my God, I saw them 2 weeks ago and they were so happy. Because up until the minute they tell people they're getting divorced, they're like the happiest couple you know. And you assume that they probably didn't go from happy to, on Monday to Wednesday saying we should get divorced. Something was probably going on there. Or you think the couple's fine and all of a sudden you hear they lost their house. You see things like that happen. Or, everything is fine and then all of a sudden their house is on the market. You ask what's happening and you say, well, you hear the husband lost his job like a year ago. And you just didn't know that. And would you rather risk people laughing at you, or would you rather have somebody come up to you one day and say, why didn't you show me what you were doing, a year ago? We're losing our house and we really could have used an opportunity. And if you would have cared enough about us to show it to us, maybe that could have made a difference. Well, I'll get over somebody laughing at me. I didn't want the guilt of the second scenario. So that's kind of what I use to motivate me. Is you never know what's going on in someone's life, and I would rather be laughed at than feel like I had an opportunity to help somebody that really needed it, and because of my own fear, I didn't give them the option to laugh in my face. So if you ask yourself that question, it gets easier, because you never know. You never know. Later on I did. For those of you, most people know my story, it's out online. It's online. When I was first introduced to network marketing, it was sort of a mental escape for me. But years later, it saved my life having it to come back to. And I question, what if somebody had never shown it to me? Because when I really needed it, I already knew about it, and I had already gotten over all my it won't works and everything else. I'd already gone through that process. But if I hadn't, would it have been able to save me when I went back to it in time? I don't know. So I've always been very, very grateful for the person that showed it to me, although my first company was not what I would call a profitable windfall. But I quote Holton Bugs. I didn't make millions. I made millions in my first company. I just collected them somewhere else because that's where I got my education. So I think that we owe it, if we really truly love people, if we really care about people, then we'll give them the option to think for themselves rather than prejudging them and making decisions for them.
I agree. And I was thinking about it the other day about we all start at the same place. We all have those fears and that trepidation and afraid to open our mouths and all of that. But I look at it now and I don't have that fear anymore. And it's the same. It's like what you say. It's we're out there to serve people, and all we're getting is a snapshot of what's going on in their life, and that's not just business opportunity. That is life in general.
Life in general. And it's funny you said you don't have that fear. We're always afraid. My father really taught me that. It's just, what are you afraid of more? And like I said, I'm more afraid of somebody coming up to me and saying, why didn't you think enough of me to let me know that this was possible, than I am somebody laughing at me. But I'm still responding to fear. So I think one of the keys is just finding, what do you fear more? What are you more afraid of? Are you more afraid of going out and, sucking at something so that, what's that old saying of Zig Ziglar's? You don't have to start to be good, but you have to be good. You don't have to be good to start, but you have to start if you ever want to be good. Are you more afraid of going through the process of getting good, or are you afraid of never trying? Because it's going to be one or the other. Well, most people don't really think, I'm never going to try. They just think, not today, not today, not today, not today. But if you force yourself to confront, I'm either going to do it or I'm not, so which is more frightening to me? Well, God, never trying? I don't want to be the person who never tries. I can tell you some of the ridiculous things I've tried because I didn't want to be the person who never tries. I got suckered into piano lessons at 40 because of that. I used an argument with one of my children to get them to start. When the piano teacher showed up, they said, Mom's taking 2. And I said, no, I'm not. And they used my own words back against me.
That's hilarious. I think about, I can't imagine where I would be today if I wouldn't have taken that step. Like my life is my life is completely different. Like, I never even dreamed that my life would be like this. And what I would be losing out on is mind-blowing.
I'm the same way. You know what really irritates me when I look back? It's not that I thought that I remember a time when I thought network marketing was kind of, I didn't think it was a scam or any of that. I was worse. I thought it was like crazy people from California, like tree hugging, woo woo, you know, gather around the campfire, sing kumbaya, and use really weird products nobody would ever use. And what's interesting is I don't know why I thought that. You know, that's what bothers me is I have this whole well-defined picture in my head that I don't think I ever saw. I don't think I ever knew anybody who was like that was in network marketing. And you know, it's not that I got the wrong impression. I have this whole impression that I can't for the life of me remember where it came from. And I talk to people and I say, you know, I don't like to think of myself as that person who has this whole preconceived notion and all these opinions on something they know absolutely nothing about. And I was that person. And that bugs me. To this day, that bugs me.
I think that comes with age, though. Not to say that you're old, but I think with
wisdom. It's the wisdom. Yes. I'm not old. I'm wise.
Yeah. And with wisdom comes a lot of really good stuff, because I have a situation like that, you know, that sticks in my head. I used to be very, very judgmental to the homeless. I mean, like, I think back on what I thought back then, and then I ended up being that caretaker and that person that just loved them. But, you know, as life takes us through all of everything that we're doing, and I mean, we just learn from it. That's one of the reasons why I don't regret anything in my life, nothing, because
like where you're at, you can't, because it's that tapestry. What would you change and where would you end up if you changed it?
Exactly. So,
well, this has been a cool one today, guys. For those of you watching, a little bit different, but I think it probably, if you're kind of enjoying being a fly on the wall for this conversation, I think it's some interesting thoughts, getting some of the wisdom, and applying it to your business, because you really are in an amazing company, working with an amazing team at an amazing time in your own lives, because there are a lot of good companies, and I believe that opportunities are always good. I don't believe there's ever a better time, you know, to be involved with a company than when it's your time to go do great things within the company that resonates with you. But it's always great to have a great story to tell, and you've got a great company story to tell with the international expansion and the trajectory. I'm pretty sure you guys are going to do $1 billion this year, right?
We already are. We were $1 billion company in December. So,
right. So yes, I'm saying, so the numbers are amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Romy's about to start this next chapter in her life. These hangouts are going to become leadership and friends, not just Romy, because so many people are stepping up, like Karina. She's going to be out seeing the world, sharing phenomenal pictures and stories from the road, and seeing people for you on the road. And you have the opportunity to build your business nationwide and have people that they can actually go and look in the eyes of, which is really significant in this business. It's not, I always tell people, not having anything is never fatal. I've met people that have built businesses in the middle of nowhere with bad cell coverage, couldn't get video coverage, had to figure it out as they went in countries that are unbelievable. You know, I met some people years ago in Tahitianoni that became the top of the company. I think it was Tahitianoni, that were from some small remote village like in Malaysia that was all, you know, nobody could afford anything, and everybody would come by and they would buy like today's glass of stuff. This was 15, 20 years ago, and those two women out of that small village built to the top of the company because nobody told them you shouldn't be able to do that. You know, they didn't know that everybody else had conference calls and this and that and the other thing. But having said all that, it's still wonderful when you've got a great story and when you've got face-to-face and people can connect to something bigger than themselves and bigger than what they've just seen, and an out-of-town expert. And there's nothing like an out-of-town visiting expert to inject some real life into your business. So this is an amazing opportunity for all of you. And it's a great opportunity for us because, Broome, you're going to share great stories and we get to work with some other people on your team, which I'm excited about. So all in all, it's going to be a great year.
Yes, yes. Great, great summer. I'm excited to see how I think that we're in that momentum building for just a minute, and I think we're just getting ready for takeoff again. So it's.
Oh, it sounds like it. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I've been watching you in Hong Kong, and you're heating up over there. You're next, down the hall. So.
Yeah.
Well, any closing thoughts? Any questions?
I don't think so.
Well, I
This
think
was
it'll
good.
probably be Curtis next week from Hong Kong, but we'll prepare something super special.
Okay, when does he leave?
He leaves on Tuesday our time, but he'll get back into Hong Kong Wednesday morning our time, and your call is on Thursday morning his time.
Wow, two days ahead of us?
No, it's Wednesday night or Tuesday. What is it? No, I'm sorry, Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Your call is on, what is today? Wednesday, right?
No,
Okay.
today's Tuesday.
Oh, so it's Wednesday morning. Oh, no, I'll be doing it. He'll still be in the air. Sorry. I get so confused.
Yeah, that's why I posted yesterday. Monday is pretty much the only day that I know what day it is. Otherwise, I'm screwed. The other days, I just have no idea.
I'm the same way, but I will prepare something really special and over the top, I promise.
Cool. I bet you will.
And I'll see you all then. Love
All
and
right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.